Hi everyone, Vickieverlie here, Rock and Roll Prophetess. Thanks so much for joining me for the energy forecast for the full moon in Libra, which is occurring on April 16th, 2:55 p.m. Eastern, but of course times will vary. This is a psychic or intuitive astrology reading, okay? I have studied astrology and I am knowledgeable about it. But I definitely color outside the lines. I use it as a jumping off point, and I get a lot of downloads and messages from my guides as I'm going through. So not your traditional astrology report, but yet still, appealing to some. If it's not appealing to you, then, that's fine with me. But this is the way I roll, so buckle up, because here we go. Oh, that rhymed. Look at that. This is the way I roll, so buckle up, because here we go. Okay, so yeah, here it is. It's the full moon in Libra, and it's opposing, of course, the sun in Aries. 26 degrees, 46 minutes on both ends. That's, of course, indicative of the full moon. The other it is a full moon, and we're going to get into that, but what grabbed me right away was this Mercury conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus here. I get the feeling like this could be just, things are going to change on a dime. News could be coming that would be a big change in our life. And I want to say, no matter what it is, whatever the news that arrives, that it is for your highest good. So some people, it might be a news that, oh, well, a company's moving overseas, or, oh, this, it might be something that on the surface is sort of shocking, and you're like, oh no, what am I going to do? Just say, okay, I know this is for my higher good, breathe into it, roll with it. I think more of the time what could be happening of this is something, because it is a full moon, okay? So a full moon always brings things to culmination. So I feel like for some of you, and the other thing is that Libra is the scales of, I equate it with the scales of justice in the tarot, but it's the scales, so it wants to bring things into balance, it wants to bring things into harmony. Agreements can be made, but with the justice and the scales and that, I was thinking, with justice, for some of you, if you've been involved in a very long, drawn-out legal process of any kind, maybe or some kind of like a class action suit, or even, a divorce, or suing somebody or something of that nature, or, going through child support or different things, I feel like you could surprisingly, or maybe seemingly out of the blue, get some news, and bam, it could all be settled just like that. Because that's what the Uranian energy will do. Things are just change on a dime. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You have to be willing to kind of roll with it and go with the flow with this Mercury-Uranus thing. This, when I do the reading, I know this is the reading for the full moon itself, but this is how I do the readings when I do the personal, like the Ingress readings or the eclipse readings. It's a snapshot of the energy right at that moment. So it's not only these 2 points, the moon and the sun at 26 degrees, everything that is captured in this exact moment in time, everything that's captured in this wheel is part of the energy and part of, in the eclipse readings, well, the Aries Ingress is over, but the eclipse readings, it's going to also carry forward into that eclipse time frame. And this is also going to carry forward into these new and full moon time frames when I, when I do these live readings for everybody. Because people always say, well, you're not even talking about the full moon. It's all part of it. It's all part of the energy. And it's also just a look at the transits of where the transits are at this moment. The full moon itself is interesting because it's trining with Saturn. So that's some nice energy. So again, I get this feeling like things could be, and with the Taurus energy and then the Saturn, it feels like things are finally settled. Even though it's Uranus, so it could be unexpected or a big shift or a big change, that things are finally settled, that the foundation is finally laid, that we're finally in this place of, okay, now I know where, and things that full moons will release things, and we're coming into eclipse season. So this is the last full moon before the eclipse season starts. But it's like becoming aware of things and by unexpected changes and turns of events. I really feel strong. This just keeps grabbing me, this Mercury-Uranus. You could see something with Mercury-Uranus. You could see something in a flash and then, maybe just blow it off. Not even, like you drive by a billboard or you're scrolling past something on social media And it's just kind of like, oh, okay. And then your mind's going, wait, what was that? And half the time we'll just say, oh, nothing. I don't have time to go back and see what that was about. But if something like that happens, if you have that little inkling, if you have that little, oh, what was that kind of a thing, definitely go back and check it out, because it could just be peeking in for that flash of a moment, but it could also be something really important that could actually, the guides are coming through with, that could actually change the course of your life. So that's some major stuff there. Yeah, that's pretty major. So let's look at this. So as I said, it's trining Saturn. So laying in a foundations. I really get that some legal things could be really settled here. I wonder if that's in the world at large. Maybe there's going to be some major legal things. I'm not sure about, I haven't been following that closely with the Supreme Court in the United States. Could be something like that. They're going to be swearing in. Maybe she'll be sworn in at that time. I don't know. But it definitely can be bringing down into your own life. Now the scales of justice, the scales in Libra, it's not only about the scales of justice as far as legal things, court matters, lawsuits and things like that. It also can be balancing of karma, things coming into balance, things, coming into where if you're been in any kind of extreme, and I think that that's kind of been a trend here for a lot of people, we're getting more and more extreme. It seems to be. And I'm hearing that song. Seems to me you don't want to talk about it. Seems to me you just turn your pretty head and walk away. What is that? It's James Gang. Joe Walsh, Walk Away, I think that's the song. And if you've never seen my forecast, Rock and Roll Prophetess is not just a moniker. I'm a musician, and I get downloads in the form of music and songs all the time. So I'm not just sitting here goofing around singing songs. They have meaning many of the time. So walk away. That's the thing. With full moon often will bring a chance to walk away, or you may have reached even if it's something ongoing like I was initially tuning into, like these long-going lawsuits or these long-going things like this, you can finally walk away. Or if you've been in a long divorce for some people, because Libra is, the sign of partnerships too, and your rules of 7th house, this is your house of marriage and partnerships. And you could finally walk away. And then with walking away comes with a sense of relief, though. And that would be true, too, for any of you who are dealing with some kind of job situation, or even, living, working situation, anything that's been building and culminating, where there's, this opposition and all this, I already forgot the word that I used before the song came in, but where we're really stuck in our views and we're really in opposition. We can find a way to come to terms with it and find balance, even if that does mean walking away in some cases, Of course, if you have a bad job, you don't want to just walk away because I told you to in this video without somewhere to go necessarily. I'm not telling anybody to go quit their job, make that perfectly clear. But if that resonates with you, then maybe you should be seeking some other avenues. Maybe, with this Mercury-Uranus, some other avenue could open up so unexpectedly that it's just like, whoa. This feels like long-standing things because of a Saturn involvement. This feels like long-standing things that we've been putting up with forever, that we're just like feel where we're stuck in the mud or stuck in the quicksand, and then quickly it could just all of a sudden change. And all of a sudden, they're showing me like a car stuck in the mud, and your wheel is just spinning, and mud splattering everywhere. And then all of a sudden, somebody pushes you out or whatever happens, and you're zipping off down the road. Or, you see these videos of these animals that are caught somewhere, and then somebody frees them, and then first thing they do is they take off running, because they have all this pent up energy that has been trying to get unstuck. People, you could be getting unstuck at this time. Long-standing things could be getting unstuck and moving forward, especially because we don't really, looks like Mercury's direct, all the personal, let's look at Venus. Yeah, all the personal planets are direct, so that also is indicative of things moving forward. I'm just getting really quickly and settled to everybody's satisfaction. You might, if you are involved in some kind of a negotiation, whether it is a divorce or even negotiating over a business or property or anything like that, You know, you're probably not going to get 100% what you want. That's what you have to look at. That's another thing of the scales. You got to weigh it out. Well, they're offering just about what I want. I'm not going to get everything I want, but do I want to continue on in this state of, you know, friction, in this state of spinning my wheel in the mud and the mud splattering everywhere and I'm just digging a bigger hole? Or can I take this opportunity, even though maybe it's not 100% what I'm really wanting, and just take off? Because that's what they just keep showing me. Once that car's freed from the mud, it's just like zipping down the road, bam, gone. Like making up for lost time. That's what it is. And that's another, you know, Saturn. Oh, I got chills all over on that one. Woo! All down the legs and everything. Yeah, making up for lost time. Or lost ground even. Oh God, more, I can't take it. It's down my back and everything. I'm getting the chills. Woo! Well, that's, you know, Saturn is Father Time. You know, Saturn rules over time. Saturn rules over the elderly. When I said Saturn rules over the elderly, what came to mind is, another thing that came to mind is you're never too old. You know, 60 is the new 40 and all that, you know, all that jazz, whatever they say these days. But it's never too late. If you're waking up and you're breathing, it's not too late. You don't have to resign yourself to, my life is over because of whatever. I'm too old, so I had my shot. You know, I had my shot. I was like that for years, you know, with music. I walked away from music for a long time. So from when I had my kids in my mid-20s until I was still writing and everything, but I just wasn't getting in bands or trying to do it. Like, I have my hands full with twins anyway, but, you know, until I got into like my late 30s. So for a good decade, you know, I just walked away from it. And then when I got in my late 30s, I started, you know, I was playing in bands again and doing stuff again. But you know, I just walked away from it. I thought, well, I had my shot. I didn't make it. It's all over for me. And now, you know, it's so laughable to look back at. What do you mean it's all over for you? Even, you know, I was still writing, but it was just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It was mournful. I don't know. You know, instead of filling my heart with joy and happiness and raising my vibration, it was just like, oh, I can't have this anymore. I'm so sad I can't have this anymore. I could, you know, you don't want to be hard on yourself, but it's kind of like, what was that all about, you know? If you still wake up in the morning and you're still breathing, then you can still do just about anything, you know, physical health, withstanding, you can do it. The way this is pointing at this, look at the aspect lines. This is another way I go off topic a little bit. It's psychic stuff coming through. This reminds me of an airplane and flying, you know, a paper airplane, and not your average everyday. There's these fancier ones. You know, you could make a regular one where you just fold it a couple times, but there was fancier ones that were looked like this, or it almost looks like a jet or something. Hey, I wonder if there could be like some, you know, ET disclosure stuff coming out that maybe is acknowledged by justice and the government or whatever, you know, in a more public way, you know, who knows. But something about this airplane and the nice one, you know, the fancy one too, that's the other part of it. Well, that brings back that same theme of the car with the speed. Like this kind of a jet would fly, you know, really fast, right? The Blue Angels or whoever, right? Yeah, so things are going to moving fast. And, you know, just think of air travel, you know, as a mode of transportation. You know, well, of course you could walk, or you could ride a bike, or you could drive, or you could fly, you know. We used to go down to Florida, you know, and let's drive for, you know, however many hours, or let's just take a 2-hour flight, you know, let's take the flight, absolutely. So that's what they're coming through with. I'm sorry, but it's all coming in as we speak. It's coming through. So what they're trying to tell us is things that you thought would take a very long time, or maybe you didn't, because of your age or whatever, you didn't have enough time in your life left to, you know, get involved with it or take it on or anything. It could be shocking how fast it could go. Faster than you could ever have imagined, you know. At lightning speed, lightning quickness. And that's bringing in more of this Uranian energy and stuff too, but that's just feels like that is the energy that is coming through for sure. That's what they keep, circling back to with the guides. Let's take a look at some of the other stuff. You have Neptune and Jupiter. Oh, look at that. Yeah, the Neptune-Jupiter conjunction. That's going to be only a few days after this Neptune-Jupiter conjunction. How could we not talk about that? And it's at 24 degrees, so it's also, sorry I can never remember these. They just won't stick in my head, the names of these aspects. Semi-sextile or in conjunct. But an adjustment needs to be made. But this is super powerful anyway. I mean, as I'm recording this video on April 3rd, I think, we're already in it. It's already in orb. It's going to be exact on April 12th. And then we're going to, here we are at the full moon a few days later, and it's still exact at 24 degrees, 24 degrees. The minutes, of course, have changed a little, but yeah. This is super powerful creativity, spirituality, downloads, major realizations, seeing things. Well, the 12th house Neptune energy, which is, I say that because it's all one thing. If you're not familiar, 12th house Neptune, it's all the same vibe. So this energy can be hidden. It can be hidden. It can be things that were hidden, and they could be coming to light. The guides are really coming through strongly with let them come to light. Let them be seen. Yeah, let it be revealed. Because a lot of times our nature and the nature of our society is to hide things. We have shame. It's like shame and guilt. If things are not perfect, I think, and I feel like that's even more emphasized in this era of social media. Because, of course, your Instagram and whatever, you got the perfect filter on and you look so perfect, and it's funny, I pay attention to this, and I'm not wishing anybody bad about this thing, but I mean, it keeps coming back to this divorce thing. You see the people that I've known, you see when they start really posting a bunch of pictures about how happy and in love they were and everything, it's like they're trying to manifest it, but I've so many times you'll see, well, we're splitting up, and it's not funny, but it's ironic, in a way. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, well, you looked so happy and everything. Like you're trying to sell yourself on something that's no longer a fit. You're trying to, sell yourself and use this illusion in a way to, and there's value in that, because we do want to, we have to watch our self-talk, and we want to, that's another thing with this Mercury-Uranus, watch your self-talk. There could be really quick manifestations, but we want to watch our self-talk, but we also, there sometimes things do come to an end. That's just how it, maybe not a marriage, but it could be a job, it could be where you're living, it could be a lot, it could just be, just about anything. Things come to an end. Death and rebirth, the endless cycle of the wheel of astrology. It's always onward we go. So things do come to an end. There is death and rebirth. And sometimes people will try to fool themselves into, well, maybe it's not that bad, or, this, or, just getting yourself, you have to really look at reality, because this is a time to really change your reality. Not just tell some story that's, that's a lie. People tell themselves lies all the time. Just like, oh, well, or even like with the Neptune stuff, maybe making excuses if you are in a bad relationship. Even if it's not a relationship with your romantic partner. If you're, making excuses for, well, my boss, yeah, he can be a jerk, but he works so hard, he's got someone, or, oh, yeah, my so-and-so drinks too much, but, yeah, they got no. Stop. We guys, reveal the illusions. Because when you remove that cloud of energy of that illusion, it can really open up this portal of, this could be extreme clarity, extreme merging with the divine truth. The guides corrected me on that one, the divine truth. Merging with the divine truth. And, that can be so helpful and so, just so helpful to getting your life on course, to getting your life to what you're meant to be doing here and aligning with your true soul's purpose and these types of things. The Uranus is not quite there. That's going to be a major thing. I believe that's coming in May, when we're going to have that Uranus North Node conjunction. That's going to be, wow, off the charts, I feel. But anyways, yeah, so this is, it's not tricky energy. but it's an energy that's mutable, so it's kind of malleable, and it can be used in a lot of different ways. But it's super powerful, and it's super amplified with, first of all, Neptune is Pisces ruler is Neptune, so it's in its ruler sign there, so that's very powerful. And then wherever Jupiter is, there's always this big emphasis. It always expands and emphasizes and brings forth, amplifies. So this is just, the Neptune energy is off the hook. We can be submerged in the collective conscious. We can make major breakthroughs if we use it wisely. We could also, try to, what I'm thinking of is how you try to save face. You want to try to just not look at things with rose-colored glasses. And again, sometimes that can be really positive for manifestation. But if you're on the wrong path, looking at things through rose-colored glasses is just delaying your progress. We're just that wheel in the mud spinning everywhere. So if you want to be like this jet and take off at warp speed towards your divine calling, towards your karmic, balancing your karma and moving on to the next phase with the scales of Libra, moving, the balancing of the karmic scales there, then you gotta dive into these illusions, and you gotta kind of take them to the highest source of being. If you feel uncomfortable, this is all coming from the guides now. So if you're feeling, if whatever you're swimming in, you're swimming in the energetic field of the Piscean energy, whatever field that you're swimming in with that energy, if you feel uncomfortable, if it makes you feel like, not the opposite of confident, where you feel not good enough, or you feel, uncomfortable, that's a sure sign that you're using this to kind of mask. Don't use it to mask your true feelings. You can use this to reveal your true feelings and reveal your true calling, and get aligned with something from a much higher level, therefore directing your life to a much higher vibration and speedy. Things could move. Neptune is not thought of as speedy, but I'm definitely getting that from this chart. This with the jet showing in and what they're showing with the everything, and I think that it's this Mercury Uranus thing, because this is only going to be active for a couple days, and then the fact that it's caught or captured within the snapshot of this chart says that's going to give it some even more of a shelf life or whatever, or more of an influence. A span of influence, I guess, would be what we're talking about here. Okay, what else we got going on? Let's take a look at this thing. Yeah, Saturn's still squaring the nodes, too. So there is that alignment with our highest calling. The North Node in Taurus is a time that we can really ground those into the solid reality, our highest calling. It's not just an abstract concept, It's an actual thing in the physical reality. Also, that's why it's so powerful to actually be writing things down, especially with the Mercury Uranus, and it being in the sign of Taurus too. Writing things down, because when you write it down, then it's no longer just a thing in your mind floating around. It's a physical thing that's tangible right in front of you. Or do it in a painting, or do it in a, anything. Bringing things into the physical reality, so that it can quicken them becoming what you want to see in your life and where you want to go with your life. Not being bogged down. That's one of the things that Saturn Aquarius, it's not really, it's kind of a real different energy. Even though Saturn used to be the ruler of Aquarius, it's a very different energy. Aquarius is air and futuristic, Saturn's the old, Aquarius is the new. And I'm saying Aquarius, of course, it's all this energy. But with the combination of Saturn in Aquarius and its ruler, Uranus, on another Earth sign, we've got this Earth and Uranian and Earth energy. So what's out in the ether, we're bringing into reality. What is a with the Piscean, what is just maybe an abstract concept or stuff floating around up there, it's like we can really grab it and we can do something with it and we can manifest it and make a foundation in the physical reality. And there's enough people now that are awakening. This could be a major, I wouldn't be surprised if so many people had major awakenings around this time. Spiritual awakenings are going to be rampant. And sometimes with spiritual awakenings that can bring, you know, sometimes that happens amidst crisis. Sometimes, you know, existential crisis, they used to say. You're having an existential, I can't even say it, existential crisis, you know, it's like you're just looking at your life like, what am I doing? And you just change your whole course, you know, you just change your whole course and do something completely different. Things are going to come into balance with the Libra energy, or at least that's what the Libra energy would like to see, or the influence that is bringing forth or striving for. Agreements can be made. That's the strongest thing that came through. Agreements can be made, and I feel, again, these are things that have been long time. For many of you, this could have been a very long time struggle. We've been struggling with this for a very long time, and then all of a sudden there's a breakthrough. It may come in the form of some kind of a communication. Again, the very first thing I got to, and they're showing me again, don't pay attention to those little synchronicities. If you scroll past something and there's this tiny something, what was that? And you know, where ordinarily maybe you would say, well, I don't have time to go back and find that. I gotta do what I gotta do, blah, 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 busy. Slow down. Slow down, go back. If you have that inkling, go back, look at it. If you, you know, see something on the road, maybe turn around and go back. I told this story in one of my early videos. I'll tell it again, though. It was amazing because this is perfect for this. They're showing me this, too. So my car was stolen out of my driveway. I left just years ago. I left the windows open and everything. It was summer. Come in the morning, the car's gone. I was bummed out. Called the police. They said, well, you know, we'll make a report, but usually they don't really turn up, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I wrote it off. I think my brother had an extra car. I was driving around this other beater car that I got somehow. I think it was my brother's or something I borrowed. And, you know, I was coming home one day, and I had this inkling to go down this other little weird side street that I would never have gone down. So I go down there, and I drove past, and what was happening was my car was there. But first I drove past it. I go, oh, because I got sad. I go, oh, that looks just like my Oldsmobile. You know, I was so sad because it was gone. It was stolen. And I go, wait, what if I drove past it, and then I stopped. And I went back, and I looked inside, and it was my car. And I found it just by following that little inkling. And I drove right past it the first time. And I never went down that street. And so it was actually just like 3 blocks away from my house. So it was just some kids. They took it for a joyride, and then they parked it there. And, you know, when they came, the neighbors said, oh, yeah, that car's been sitting there for, like, you know, a few weeks. So they had it that night, and it was there the whole time. It was only a few blocks away from me. But, you know, and here's in that story, too. I'm going to calm down. I'm getting a little hyper here. You know, the context of that story with the Neptune energy, you know, right away I went for the downer thing. Oh, that car looks just like my Oldsmobile. I'm such a victim that my car got stolen. I'm so sad that I don't have that car anymore and I have to drive around in this beater. So because that can be the Neptune energy. It can pull you down in the depths of sorrow. Yes, it can. But then I had that minute. I go, well, was it my car? You know, something told me to go back and look at it again. And then sure enough, it was my car. And it did change. You know, speaking about changing my whole, or even the thing they showed me at the beginning with the car zipping off, and I was happily zipping off down the road in my Oldsmobile that I loved, you know, instead of that beater car that I had. So, yeah, you know, pay attention to those little things. And this is another thing that's coming through from the guys. When those things come up, just like with that, when I saw that car, you could go either way with it. You know, you could go with, oh, I'm such a victim, my car was stolen, I'm so sad I don't have it anymore, wah, 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 wah. You know? And you could sink right back down into that mud puddle. Or, you know, you could take that energy and use it in a different way. Creativity, especially, the Venus isn't conjunct, but it's in there. We've got Venus, Mars, you know, part of fortune, Neptune, big stellium here in Pisces. So you can use that for the higher road. And at that same time, when I was back to my car story again, but it's so apropos for this energy, you know, I was really tuned into my psychic. At that time, I was not doing any psychic work really at all. I was bartending and going to school, and I had 2 small children. I mean, I was still doing tarot cards, but I wasn't into it. I was actually reading a lot back then. We used to go to the library, and I was devouring a lot of metaphysical books, but I wasn't. I don't think I was anywhere like I am now. I didn't talk about it to other people. I was still kind of in the closet at that time, you know. So, but that's the other way that Neptune energy can work. Just intuitively, something told me to go down this other street. And then when I drove past the car, intuitively, something told me to go back. And I found my car. And I had that car for many years after that, probably 10 years after that. It was one of my favorite cars of all time. But anyways, I digress. Here is the chart. I want to let everybody know, too, I am open for the eclipse reading by popular demand. Many of you have been ordering it. So what we do on that is we take a tri-wheel. So a bi-wheel is 2 wheels together. And then a tri-wheel is your natal chart in the middle. Then we do the solar eclipse and then the lunar eclipse as well. So we're going to look at we're going to look at your chart compared to 2 different charts. So that's available on my website for a limited time. And I've also introduced the Psychic Soulmate reading, which is really cool. I'm really getting into it. I didn't know if I could do it, but it's coming. A lot of stuff's coming through, and they're really cool. And what that is a bi-wheel of you and somebody else. I originally thought I was going to use the composite chart, but I tried it both ways, and the bi-wheels definitely, a lot of stuff comes through. I mean, a lot. It's a really good. It's going really good. It's just fun for me to switch it up and do different kinds of readings here and there too. So if you are, since you're watching an astrology video, if you are in astrology, those are 2 astrology videos that are new and available on my website. April 12th, on the Neptune-Jupiter conjunction, my album comes out. I hope you all tune in and give it a listen. It's new age, and it's also higher elevation to inspire creativity. I definitely listen to it while I'm doing creative stuff and painting. As I mentioned before, like my daughter likes to listen to while she's studying. So it's instrumental, background kind of music, I guess. Ambient, it might be, I wouldn't call it ambient because I'm playing. I'm not just holding notes and like holding weird sounding notes, But I might do some more of that. I do a lot of that. If you ever listen to any of like my transmissions for humanity, I do that background kind of music like that, ambient, where it's just a couple notes, you're holding the note and it's just some weird synth sounds, basically. But this one I'm actually playing on, and it's music, it's not just sounds, it's music. So I appreciate if you like it, to check it out, and it costs you nothing to, like it or share it or save it to a favorite or put it on a playlist. It's all appreciated, all helps me to keep doing my creative pursuits, which are many. I want to thank you all for tuning in and for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. Please hit that subscribe button. That lets the YouTube algorithm know that you do enjoy my videos and want to see more of them. So here it is, long-standing things being settled and opportunities to really change your course. Those are the 2 big main themes, I guess you could say, that it came through with this chart. So thank you so much. Have the best new full moon ever. If I said new moon at any point in this video by accident, it was a slip of the tongue, and this is at 100% the full moon in Libra. Remember your love and beauty incarnate. I wish you all the best. Have a good one. Bye.